Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be working on this Ford that has an AC problem. No AC. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to diagnose a no AC issue on any vehicle. This one specifically a Ford, but basically the same exact thing on all AC systems. Make sure you guys go check out automechanicclub.com, pick up some tools, support the channel that way, and some merchandise. Also follow me on my personal Instagram, NestMendoza_, and the shop Instagram, The Mechanic OC, and TikTok, The Mechanic OC. Thanks so much for watching. Hit the like button, helps with the YouTube algorithm. Let's get it. So the first thing we're gonna do is check to make sure that the problem is there. It obviously blows hot. So I got everything on the highest setting, AC on, everything should be on. It's not working, so we gotta figure out what's going on. So now that the truck is on and we have the AC turned on, we're gonna go underneath the hood and check if the compressor is turning on at all. See if it's even spinning. It's hard to see, but the AC compressor is not turning on. You'll know that the AC compressor is on with the front of the compressor, the front clutch, as we call it, is spinning as well. If you look at the compressor and only the pulley is spinning, where the belt rides on, and not the front of it, you know the compressor is not working. So we do have an issue coming from somewhere in the AC system. So the next step is gonna be to hook up your AC gauges, your AC pressure gauges. You can pick some of these up at AutoZone, Auto Parts Store sells them, even Harbor Freight sells them. These are snap-on ones, but you could just get any from anywhere, Amazon, all that fun stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and check pressure by hooking these bad boys up. We have the low side and the high side, and we're gonna hook them up to the ports on the AC system. So they're right here. Your car might have them somewhere else. You gotta just find them. These are luckily right here, and they're two different sizes, so you cannot mix them up. So the high side's gonna have this port right here. You cannot mix them up. They only go one way on each. Go ahead and put it on, slap it on, and put it on. And then we go ahead and put the next one on, which is the low side, the blue one. Snap it on and drive it down. Do not crank it down, guys. Do not force it down. Just make sure that it's on, and that's all you need, okay? You don't want to damage the Schrader valve. Okay, make sure that they are open. Both of them are open. Close off the valve that goes to the tank. We're gonna go ahead and start the truck up so that the AC is working or turned on, and see if there's any pressure being built up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so since the compressor is not working at all, I wanna see if the system has any Freon in it at all. I wanna see if there's 1 pound, I wanna see if there's nothing in there. So what I like to do first is I like to evacuate the system and see how much Freon comes out. And the way you do that is by having an AC machine. If you do not have an AC machine, you should not be working on AC systems anyways. But what I like to do is remove all the Freon in there, see how much is in there, and kind of go from there. But since the compressor isn't spinning, we cannot use our gauges to diagnose the problem because the compressor isn't pumping, so we don't have any pressures to know what's going on in the system. So we have to evacuate the system first, weigh it out, figure out how much is in there, and then go from there. So that's what I'm gonna do next, is evacuate the system. We currently have 2.7 pounds in here. We're gonna go ahead and recycle it, and we're gonna see how much is coming out. Okay, so only maybe 3 ounces came out, something super small. It was at 2.7, now it's at 2.9. So there's nothing in the AC system. There is no Freon in there. Now everything's evacuated. So we know that the system has no Freon in. So the way that you know how much Freon is supposed to be in the system is you find this sticker right here, and it tells you all the information on the AC system. You guys can see there, it's supposed to take 24 ounces, which is about 1.5 pounds. So since we know that the system does not have any Freon in it, we know that we have a leak coming from somewhere. It could be from the Schrader valves, it could be from a seal that connects the hoses, it could be anything. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna fill up the system with the correct amount of Freon, and we're also gonna put a dye inside of it so we can detect it using a UV light. I also have a sniffer that allows me to know when there is a leak coming from a seal. So we're gonna use different methods to try to find this leak. We're gonna go ahead and charge the system with the right pounds of Freon, 1.5. We're gonna go ahead and charge it now and figure out where this leak is coming from. So now that we have the system filled up with the correct amount of Freon, we're gonna go ahead and start the truck up, and we're gonna start the process all over again. We're gonna go and start it up, turn the AC on, see if the compressor is turning on, and see what the gauges are doing. If the compressor does not turn on and the gauges do not move, we know that we have either a bad compressor, we either have electrical issue going to the compressor, maybe the power wire going to the compressor is not functioning for whatever reason, but we can go ahead and start diagnosing it from that point because we know that the Freon is not the issue. We did have an issue with the Freon though because we did not have any Freon in it, so we definitely do know that we have a leak coming from somewhere, and we still have another problem if the compressor does not turn on. So let's go ahead and turn it on and check if the compressor is turning on. The gauges are all pegged out, and the compressor is still not turning on. Compressor is not turning on. This is a tough one. The compressor is not turning on at all. So now we have to check to make sure that the compressor is getting power to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up the wiring diagram for this compressor and figure out how the system is wired up. Hopefully it only has one wire going to it, which means it only has one power wire going to it. I'm going to see if there's a fuse in the system and see how the entire system functions. Then I'm going to go ahead and test the compressor, check all the electrical components to the compressor because we might have a bad fuse, we might not be getting power to it for whatever reason. So you have to check if the compressor is getting power first. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I got the back of the connector to the compressor pinned. I have it right here, and this is the connector. I disconnected it so I can reach it, and I have it pinned already. So it's back probed. I have my test light right here, so I can go ahead and test power going to it. I'm going to connect it again, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn on the AC, and I should be getting power to it. If I am getting power to it, we might have an issue with the compressor. So I'm going to go ahead, install this back on, and turn the truck on with the AC and see what it does. Okay, so we do have power going to the compressor. So we do have power going to the compressor, as you guys saw with the test light. So we know that power going to the compressor is good. We have all the sensors that are working, because if we did not have power to the compressor, we could say maybe that the low pressure switch or the high pressure switch might be bad, or might be a restriction somewhere, or something else might be the issue. But since we do have power going to the compressor, we know that everything works. And the only thing that could be going wrong with this thing could be a bad compressor itself, because the compressor is not spinning. When it's getting power, we know that it's probably internally bad. So we might have to replace the compressor. I have to do one more test, but probably gonna be the compressor. All right, so we are gonna go ahead and replace the compressor. I'm also gonna replace the condenser on this car, or this truck, I mean, and a few other little things that the compressor also messes up when it goes bad. I don't know how bad the problem is because I haven't removed anything yet, but I'm just giving you guys my diagnostic. That's basically how I go ahead and diagnose an AC system. I go ahead and remove all the Freon, weigh it out, figure out how much is in there, and if there is Freon in there and the compressor is kicking on but not working properly, I go ahead and use my gauges. But in this case, no Freon in the system, so we went ahead and evacuated it, found that there was no Freon in it, and then we go ahead and fill it up. Still no pressure, knowing that the compressor was probably bad. We checked power going to it. We had power going to it. We confirmed that. Now we know the AC compressor is just bad. So it is what it is. Sucks for the customer, but we're gonna go ahead and replace that. I'll be bringing you guys a video on how to replace the compressor on this F-150, so make sure you guys stick around for that one. Thanks so much for watching. Check out automechanicclub.com, pick up some tools, support the channel that way. Make sure you guys hit the like button. It's free and it helps with the YouTube algorithm. Leave me a comment so there's more interaction with the video. Also, make sure you guys follow me on my Instagram, NestMendoza_, and the TikTok, the Mechanic OC, and the Mechanic OC Instagram as well. Thanks so much for watching. Like always, take care.